And this is exactly why I said I'll always remain grateful for whatever situation I'm in. I try to find the positivity no matter what, because the situation can always get worse. I'll have to excuse the fan in the background. I'm in the bathroom in the motel. And please excuse the lack of voice that I have, because we're fighting something. We all woke up with some kind of cough this morning. And I think that's just our bodies trying to adjust from the new environment and going back and forth.
Okay, here's the motel situation with the resilient Jenkins. As you can see, Stephanie has Drew peeling a few potatoes before he gets back to his 9 to PS5. Now, I don't know about y'all, but this looks a little bit unsafe to me. They have way too many things around this hot pot. I don't know, it's giving fire hazard. And then in the video, Stephanie is talking about tiny home living with her 5 kids and her man. Are you kidding me? Tiny living? You've been doing tiny living for some time. I think it's time to do better. I don't think she's grasping the fact that her children literally need space. Why is she so persistent on squeezing her family into small shelters? She says that she wants to give her kids the life they deserve, but what is the life they deserve? And I'm not sure if y'all peeped it, but they got a baby in the car seat. I'm not sure if that's a baby doll or their child, but what are you doing?
Every time we think we've seen it all with the resilient Jenkins, they somehow manage to shock us even more. This time, it's not just about Stephanie and Drew failing to provide stable housing for their children. It's about them actively putting their kids in danger. From moving into a sketchy motel with serious safety risks to creating their own fire hazards inside the room, the situation is spiraling into something truly disturbing. Watching Stephanie's videos, seeing her blatantly ignore these dangers and acting as if everything is fine will make your blood boil. So, let's break this down. Stephanie starts her latest video with her usual spiel about gratitude and positive thinking, claiming that things could always be worse. Now, optimism is great, but when it turns into complete delusion and comfort in dysfunction, that's a problem. Instead of using positivity as a motivation to change her family's circumstances, Stephanie uses it as an excuse to stay stuck. In her mind, as long as her kids are smiling, nothing needs to change. Because let's be real, children can smile through anything. That doesn't mean they're okay. She then casually mentions that everyone in the family woke up with a cough. At first, she laughs it off, saying it's just their bodies adjusting.
And this is exactly why I said I'll always remain grateful for whatever situation I'm in. I try to find the positivity no matter what, because the situation can always get worse. I'll have to excuse the fan in the background. I'm in the bathroom in the motel. And please excuse the lack of voice that I have, because we're fighting something. We all woke up with some kind of cough this morning. And I think that's just our bodies trying to adjust from the new environment and going back and forth. But let me get back to it. A little over a week ago today, I had a dishwasher that was somewhat working. I had a kitchen sink. I had a stove. I had a kitchen. Yeah, it was small, but it was more than what we're working with now. And a lot of you wanted to put down that situation that we were living in. I mean, albeit it was definitely not ideal for our size of a family we have now, but there was a lot of positivity about it too. And I think that's just because we had really spent the time to make that situation work for our family. While we were packing up the U-Haul, Drew and I noticed we really did have that place organized to fit for our family. Drew and I both really like the concept of a tiny home as long as it has well organization to it, but ideally said tiny home would be on a plot of land. Also, the tiny home that we envision has a space and a nook for everybody. Everybody's provided their own little private area. We still get to remain the close-knit family that we are. And that's just a little bit about our goals and how we try to stay positive in every situation we're in. Okay, bye-bye now.
But let's think about that for a second. Her children, including an infant barely 3 months old, are all coughing. That's not adjusting. That's a serious health concern. Could it be the mold in the motel, poor air circulation, maybe even a buildup of dust bacteria, or other airborne toxins that come from moving into cheap, unsanitary locations repeatedly? Stephanie doesn't stop to ask these questions. She brushes it off as just another thing they have to get used to. Let's break that down. Why should anyone have to get used to a worsening health condition? The idea that chronic coughing in a child this young is just a minor inconvenience is downright irresponsible. Babies have weaker immune system, and exposing them to harmful environments can cause long-term respiratory issues. So what exactly is Stephanie's plan? Let her newborn and other children continue breathing in whatever filth is in the air until their bodies adjust?
It's just filthy, cockroach infested, bed bugs. They don't clean. It's just not a good place for your kids to be. An extended stay hotel is usually horrible, but then also you might have to get 2 rooms because of the amount of people you have. Just for the trauma for your children is not worth it. Go to your mom's. Being homeless is so emotionally draining, and as the mom, you feel broken, like you can't do anything to fix it. But regardless, the health, safety, and welfare of your kids have to come first, and you do have something you could do about it. You do have somewhere you could go. other people who might desperately need help and are deserving of it in the future, and she's going to taint people's goodwill, and they're not going to want to help people in the future. Money from TikTok, from exploiting your children. You have money you've exploited from other people. So where is it going? Because subsidized housing is not that expensive. You could have paid your rent. We've got people out here supporting you, trying to help you, and you are flocking with their good intentions. No, I've been helped before. I have. And if I've been able to pay it back, I do. And if I couldn't, the money always went where it was intended to go from people's good intentions.
This is the same woman who talks about wanting the best for her kids, yet she repeatedly refuses to take action that would actually ensure their well-being. And let's not forget, this isn't just about the cough, it's about the cycle. The constant moving, the instability, the lack of concern for basic health and hygiene. It's about Stephanie and Drew refusing to take accountability for their situation. A responsible parent would recognize that their children's health is deteriorating and do everything in their power to fix it. Instead, Stephanie shrugs it off and moves on to the next video topic, like it's just another day in the Jenkins household. But at what point does this stop being just another day and start being recognized for what it really is? Neglect. Stephanie also spends a good portion of her video talking about their plans for the future. She dreams of a tiny house where everyone has their own little private space as long as they stay together as a family.
And at the end of the day, this woman chose to go live in a fucking hotel. I don't give a fuck what y'all say about me talking about this girl. She literally chose to live in a hotel instead of going to her mother's house. I don't give a fuck what her mom done did. It clearly wasn't that bad if she can't tell us what the fuck it is. Like, be so for real. You chose to put your children in a little ass hotel room, an even smaller place that they just came from, instead of taking them to your mother's house where I'm sure they would have had plenty of room. Any mother that chooses homelessness instead of going in with family, that's pure denial that y'all are defending this shit, and it's sick.
But let's break this down. Stephanie has a family of seven people, and she's still talking about a tiny house? How does she think that's going to work when her kids grow up? Right now, they fit in these tiny spaces because they're still young. But what happens when they become teenagers? What about when they start needing personal space, different schedules, and privacy? Will they still be crammed into a tiny, unrealistic living arrangement because their parents refuse to plan for the future? And more importantly, where is the money for this dream coming from? Because last time we checked, neither she nor Drew have jobs. A tiny home on a plot of land sounds nice in the theory. But if you have no income, it's nothing more than just a pipe dream. Stephanie is out here making plans for a house when she hasn't even figured out how to afford rent. Even worse, she's treating this fantasy like a concrete plan, speaking as if it's inevitable rather than just another unachievable goal she's pulling out of thin air. Let's not forget, Stephanie's history with big plans usually ends up as nothing more than talk. She's mentioned self-sufficiency, homesteading, and long-term stability before. She's done nothing to actually work toward it. So what exactly makes this tiny home any different? Without employment, savings, or even a basic plan of action, this is just another version of the same old story, a way to distract from the real issue, their refusal to get real jobs and provide for their kids properly. But the worst part of all this, the actual dangers Stephanie is creating inside the motel. As if it wasn't bad enough that she and Drew moved their children into a place known for crime and unsanitary conditions, now they're introducing brand new risks with their reckless cooking setup. Instead of using whatever resources the motel provides, Stephanie has brought in a hot plate and a deep fryer. A deep fryer in a tiny overcrowded room filled with children.
Stay-at-home mom, but my husband works. Like, at the end of the day, I don't have to make a dang thing on this app. I'm going to be taken care of. My bills are going to be taken care of. This house is going to be taken care of. The kids are going to be taken care of because my husband is working his butt off to do that. And if my husband couldn't work and he had to be at home with the kids, guess what? I'm going to be working my butt off. I'm going to go get a job, work overtime. If I have to get 2 jobs, I'm going to get 2 jobs. I'm just not comprehending why one of you are not out there getting a job and working. It is not impossible. And you're choosing to have all these kids. So please don't blame the kids. Don't blame the kids. I think your husband or whatever he is, he needs to get up and go get a job. Because it's very sad that your kids are suffering because of the choices that y'all continue to make. And then you're getting here on social media and wondering why people have something to say to you. It's crazy. Oh my God. Please explain. Why are one of y'all not working? I don't understand.
In her video, she shows herself boiling something on the hot plate, surrounded by plastic bags and grocery items that inches just away from the heat source. Common sense should tell you that's a fire hazard. But Stephanie, she's completely oblivious. And if that wasn't enough, right next to the hot plate is a deep fryer full of oil, plugged near the power outlet with a phone charging right next to it. What could possibly go wrong? Right? If you look at the statistics, 55% of hotel and motel fires are caused by in-room cooking. And Stephanie has not one but two dangerous appliances running at the same time. She's practically setting herself up for disaster.
Asking me, what does Drew do? He does a lot, but I have one device to create content on, and that's my phone. And usually my phone is being used to do a lot of mom things as well. Get as many clips as I can of me doing my thing. Oftentimes I really don't get as many clips of Drew doing what he's doing around the place. I think going forward, he's going to start getting his perspective on the matter too. So prepare to see videos from Drew as well. For the life of me, I don't know why that's just going to steam a bunch of you when you literally could just do what makes you happy too. Why is that so hard?
Let's break this down even further. A hot plate in itself is already a risky appliance when used in a confined, cluttered space. But pairing it up with a deep fryer, one of the most flammable kitchen gadgets out there, is nothing short of reckless. Deep fryers can reach temperatures of up to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. And if hot oil splashes into anything flammable, it can ignite instantly. Now, imagine this happening in a single motel packed with kids, plastic materials everywhere, and no easy escape route. What's worse is that Stephanie seems to have no regard for basic fire safety precautions. There is no mention of a fire extinguisher in sight, no safety plan, no thought about the fact that grease fire can't be put out with water. If something were to go wrong, which at this rate seems inevitable, there is no telling how fast the entire situation could spiral into a full-blown disaster. And let's not ignore the electrical overload happening here. A motel room is not designed to support multiple high-power appliances running at the same time. A deep fryer alone can pull a significant amount of power, and now it's sharing an outlet with other devices. Overloaded circuits can spark fires within walls. And the worst part, you wouldn't even see it coming until it's too late. Stephanie's disregard for safety doesn't just put her at risk, it endangers her children and everyone else staying in that motel. A fire caused by her negligence wouldn't just harm her family. It could affect other guests, staff, and even surrounding businesses. It's that kind of carelessness that turns into tragedy in an instant. At this point, it's not even about poverty or struggling circumstances. It's about making intentional choices that invite disaster. And Stephanie, time and time again, continues to make the worst possible decisions for her family. The scariest part of all this, it almost seems like Stephanie wants something bad to happen. Think about it. She constantly posts videos revealing exactly where they're staying, making it incredibly easy for strangers to track them down. She films herself washing dishes in the bathtub like it's quirky content instead of a sad reality. And now she's setting up a fire hazard in a cramped motel room with her children just a few feet away. Beyond just being careless, it feels like she thrives off the attention that these reckless choices bring her. She knows people are watching, and instead of taking steps to protect her family, she's leaning into the chaos. There's an unsettling pattern here. Every time the attention on her starts to fade, another reckless decision pops up. It's as if the outrage, the concern, and the criticism all fuel her. The more people react, the more extreme her behavior seems to get. At this point, it's not just about bad decision making, it's about a cycle of self-inflicted disaster. She chooses danger over stability, controversy over common sense, and public spectacle over her children's safety. And the worst part, she doesn't seem to care. It's almost like she's trying to create the most dramatic, dangerous situation possible just so she has more content to post. And at the end of the day, it's her children who are paying the price. And speaking of her children, how exactly is Stephanie planning to give them the life they deserve when she refuses to prioritize them over Drew? Time and time again, we've seen where her true loyalty lies. Just last year, instead of saving up for better housing, she spent money on a brand new PlayStation and a gaming chair for Drew. She let him have the bedroom while their kids slept on the kitchen floor. When her mother offers to take her and the kids in, Stephanie refuses because her mom won't allow Drew to come. Let's unpack that. She has an opportunity to provide her children with a safe, stable home, a chance to get out of the cycle of motel hopping and financial instability, but she turns it down. Why? Because her grown unemployed boyfriend isn't welcome. It's not about what's best for her children. It's about keeping Drew in her life at all costs. This is a repeated pattern. Stephanie's finances, decisions, and even her living conditions all revolve around Drew. She doesn't just tolerate his joblessness. She enables. She prioritizes his comfort over her children's basic needs. And instead of taking an opportunity to change their situation for the better, she chooses to stay in dysfunction as long as Drew is by her side. It's obvious where her priorities are. Stephanie would rather keep her unemployed boyfriend around than accept help that could give her children a stable home. And the one suffering the most from that choice? The place they're staying in now, it's already been a crime scene multiple times. 3 deaths, high rates of illegal activity, poor sanitation, and to make it even worse, Stephanie herself is turning the side of their motel into a hazard. These kids are living in an environment filled with crime, instability, and now a very real fire risk. And yet, Stephanie is still sitting there, talking about resilience and positivity, like that's going to change the reality of their situation. At some point, positivity needs to turn into action, but we all know that's not happening anytime soon. At this point, Stephanie needs to ask herself, what's going to happen when her kids grow up and start resenting her for the choices she made? Because let's be real, this level of neglect does not just go away. The decisions she's making today will have long-term consequences, and it's her children who will suffer the most. So what do you think? What's your take on Stephanie and Drew's so-called resilient lifestyle? Do you think there is any hope for them to turn things around, or are they too far gone? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates on this unfolding situation.